Hi guys, my name is Buzazu, and today I would like to show you how you can make the most out of your Bloodweb and progress faster in Dead by Daylight. I like to teach by example, so I'm just going to narrate my thought process while doing some Bloodwebs and tell you about the entity mechanics. The first thing you need to know is that you want the entity to take as many nodes as possible. The more nodes the entity eats, the less you'll have to buy to move into the next Bloodweb, and the faster you'll progress throughout the game. Obviously, there will be nodes apart from perks that you would like to pick up, like purple flashlights, black wards, bloody party streamers, but knowing how the entity actually works will help you in securing the nodes you want, as well as getting rid of the nodes that you don't really care about. So, let's get started. What I usually look at first is the path that the entity would take as soon as it takes a perk, because if I take a perk, the entity will take a perk immediately as well. So let's say the entity starts at Forced Penance. It has to move up, because there's only one line attaching, to the Mori. After this, it has three options, but it's going to take the reagent. The reason for this being is that this is the furthest away from the center. Entity only moves its way towards the center when forced to, and it's not forced to here. I can show you this by showing you this image. If you visualize these rings, the Memento Mori is in the same ring as the reagent. The other two options, the hazy reagent and the feather, are closer to the center if you look at the rings, so it won't take those. The entity's pathing would be Penance, Mori, Clear reagent, and then it has to take the hazy reagent, which takes this chunk of the map as well, which would be quite good. It would be a fast pathing. If the entity would start at Retribution, it has to move up, taking two nodes, then it goes to the left. Then it has two options. You can either go to the reagent or to the Mori. It's a 50-50. We don't know which path it would take, which is a slightly less good route for us, because it will take an extra node before eating multiples. Up here we have Shadowborn and Thrill of the Hunt. Thrill of the Hunt could be good if the entity takes it. It has only one option. It would move to the right, after which it would move to the vial. Then it has two options again. It moves down to the gloves or to the box. And we probably want to force it to take the gloves, because it takes two nodes instead of only one, the Mary's letter with the mystery box. We could take the mystery box as soon as it gets there. With the Shadowborn, this is actually kind of a dangerous route for the entity to take for us, because it will move to the left, for sure. And then it either moves down or to the gloves, and both of which are going to make this this entity move upwards into the Thrill of the Hunt area, and it's going to go all the way around it. So it will not eat multiple perks ever. It's just going to move Vial, Kit, Hunt, the Vol. It will take the cigar box as extra, but it's going to move in a really awkward way for us. It will be very costly to let the entity do this. So we want to take Shadowborn first, because it's definitely the worst placement for a perk on this web. I will take Mystery Box first, so that the Thrill of the Hunt could still loop around and get the gloves, taking two perks. It is actually going to Hex Thrill of the Hunt. So now we have the option of either taking Retribution or Forced Penance. I am thinking that the right one is going to be the best one. So now we get into the situation where if I take the perk immediately, the entity would stop pathing here, and instead immediately go to Penance, which would be bad because I would have to buy these nodes instead of the entity eating them immediately. So I don't take the perk immediately. I have one turn of patience in which the entity eats all of this. Do this. And now I take the perk. I will let the entity eat these, but I do want to stop the entity from moving back here, because if the entity actually takes the feather, I am unable to stop its pathing. He will take the bleach and then the cheaper nodes at the top here, without me being able to stop it. I would rather have the entity take these more expensive nodes at the right here, so I have to take the feather. Now it has the ability to respawn. It can either spawn on the either 5 vol or the coins, because all of those are at the outer circle. Let's see what it takes. It's going for the coin. So now I have a gamble to make. Either I want to be as cheap as possible and I take the stopper, but then there's a 50-50 of whether the entity is going to take the vol or the cut coin. This thing costs 6,000 and this thing only 3,000. I make the Bloodweb a little bit cheaper if I take stopper right now, and the entity is friendly enough to take the cut coin instead of the ether. Let's do that, let's gamble. Entity is friendly. So now the web is basically as cheap as it could have been. Okay, let's check out the next web. Let's see. Forced penance. If the entity takes this, it will be very awkward. Entity would move left, down, left again, down. This is just pretty bad. It will never take multiple perks. Nodes, I'm sorry. For Mad Grid, it's actually the same thing. Mad Grid would move up, left, and up, never taking anything extra, which is really bad. The perks on this end, Bamboozle and Limits, would both be very good, actually. They would both be able to take multiple nodes with only 2 extra movements. We would have to take the Spotted Owl just to make sure that the Bamboozle doesn't move into it. So we're going to take either Mad Grid or Forced Penance. It doesn't matter that much which I take first. I just hope that the entity is going to be nice to us and take the 66% chance that it will move to one of these. It does. It actually moves to the Cruel Limits, so I don't even have to buy the Spotted Owl immediately, so I can move towards Forced Penance instantly. It's going to eat multiples now. So I want to wait taking the Forced Penance again, because if I just let the entity do its thing, it's going to path up and take 2 nodes instead of me taking Forced Penance, making it only take 1, the Bamboozle and then the Bleach. So let's have some patience and take this first. Now we take the perk. And now we start taking cheap nodes, because there's no way to make the entity take multiples anymore. We want to path closer to cheaper nodes, so I'll take either of those first. That's fine. Take this. That's unfortunate. And now we just take one of the purples. And that's it. This is an interesting one, because all 4 of the perks are forked. We kinda want to get lucky on this one and get the 66% again. I will take Enduring. Please don't take Bloodhound. It's gonna take Bloodhound. I am forced to path towards Zanshin Tactics now. And maybe, if we're really unlucky, the entity takes Zanshin Tactics immediately before I can take it. It doesn't. We get sort of lucky. Would have been even better if the entity took Zanshin Tactics immediately instead of the Bloodhound, but this is still fine. We would love the entity to spawn up now at either the Matchbox, the Wooden Horse, the Oak, instead of the options it has down here, the Wooden Horse and the Shrike. It has 3 options up top, so there's a slightly bigger chance that it will go top. Let's hope it does. It doesn't. I will cut it off immediately, in the hopes that it will still go up. It doesn't again. Very unfortunate. It is not going to be able to take multiples now, because we don't have enough nose anymore to make it path the way that we want to. If I take Pocket Watch right now, it is still going to take the horse, I'm assuming. It does. So we still got a little bit of value. It's still 2 instead of nothing. Could have been way better though. Let's try another web. Let's do Huntress. What do you have for us, Huntress? Okay, we have a fork here, a fork here. Actually, all of the perks are forked in this web. From what I can tell right now, Fire Up will give us the most value because it takes 3. It takes 15,000 points with it. So we're never gonna take Fired Up in this web. We'll take Furtive Chase because it's the cheapest one. It does actually immediately start at Fired Up, which is very good for us. I think I'll path towards Colorphobia because it's gonna take 2 extra, which makes it 8,000. Instead of the Hangman's Trick, which is going to take 2 extra, but that's 10,000. I'll take this perk immediately to force the entity to actually go to the Hangman's Trick. And then I'll just start taking cheap ones. And there you have it. That was a very cheap Bloodweb. Let's do Doctor. Okay, Doctor has a pretty interesting web here. From what I can tell right now, Cruel Limits is definitely the weakest because it doesn't have a link towards any of the other perks. If I could choose myself, I would want the entity to start at Make Your Choice. Mad Grid would be good actually. Mad Grid would be fine as well. Let's see what it does. Okay, it takes Mad Grid. So I want to path towards Bitter Murmur here. Let's immediately do that. Everything more. Okay, I'm not going to take the Bitter Murmur yet, because I still want the entity to take all of this. It still needs 2 more moves to take those, so I'll not take the perk yet, because it will be forced to take Make Your Choice and not path in the way that I want it to. So I'm going to go to the left here instead, and to the left again. Now I took the perk, so now I should take Bitter Murmur, because the entity has a chance to spawn on Bitter Murmur, taking the perk away from me, so I take it right now. And I'll just take cheap nodes from now on. And there you have it. Pretty good Bloodweb.